Okay, we're gonna start some streaming. I haven't actually done this in a while, so hope everything works. Gotta get my pitfall screen going on there. I don't know what's going on with that. That looks normal. Yeah, I'm trying to figure this out right now. I know nobody's on the stream right now, but I don't know. It looks like YouTube's changed the way they do things. So it used to be like they would allow you to set up the live stream to be a little bit different, to at least give it, set up for a certain time. But I'm not seeing that. I got to do some more looking into this. I haven't done a stream in a while, so I'm kind of rusty at it. But anyways, yeah, I thought I'd do some. Atari. I like doing the Atari stream where you just get to play Atari. Hey, it's John Rogers. What's going on? Hopefully you can hear me. I literally just set this all up, so I did a little bit of testing. I just hit the broadcast button on my PS5 and go. Yeah, well this is a little bit different. I'm using the OBS with just on my YouTube channel with my emulator set up. So this is the way I've done it before, and it seemed to work. I just wish I had more control over when the streaming would happen. But anyways, I'm just gonna check my game here, make sure it's working. There, I think it's working. There we go. It's working. Look at that. All right. Now the thing is, I have to have the other screen up. So that's the thing now. I got a different setup here. So I got two monitors, and yeah, got my microphone. You know what? I don't know if my microphone should be here or here. Playing around with the setup is fun, because I'm gonna have my screen over here, and I got a screen over here. My game's gonna be over here. My strat chat's gonna be over there. So I'm just gonna be messing around until I get this the way I like it, and that works. But anyways, let's try playing a game. Let's see how this goes. I'm gonna try and reset the game. There we go. It's working. I was going to say, what's happening here? Looks like I have to be on here. Oh, great. Now I can't see the chat. That ain't good. I know what I can do. I can move the window over so I can see the chat. Oh. Like I said, this is a whole new setup for me, so it's going to take a few minutes to get this working the way I like it. Hey, the Atari creep's in here. What's going on, Atari creep? Yeah, like I said, this is a new setup for me, so just kind of ironing out the kinks here. It doesn't look like it gives you the option right now to pre-schedule these things either, which is weird. I don't like that I can't see the screen and the chat at the same time, but I'm going to try it this way. This might be a little bit awkward, but I want to be able to see the chat while I'm playing. Thought I'd do some Pitfall, because Pitfall is always a good one. He's on the porch, working on a few things. Cool. Ah! I fell in the pit, which is why they call it Pitfall. Maybe I should try and rearrange my screens so the game is on here and this chat's over here. I don't know. I feel weird that I'm looking over here. I'm looking at the other, looking away from the camera kind of thing. I don't know why I chose to go this way. I always chose to go to the left. I think it's just easier for some reason. I think also with the when you go to the left, if you die, then you appear over here, and then you can just continue on. If you're going to the right, and you die, you start off at the beginning here again, and then you have to go through it again. So maybe that's why I like going to the left. If I need to increase any volumes or anything, let me know. I did a little bit of testing before I started. But, you know, things are different, obviously, when you start testing on your own. And then when you go live and then people are like, oh, I can't hear. I can't hear the microphone. I can't hear the sound of the video game or whatever. I've moved the mic around a bit. All right. All right, volume sounds fine. Okay, great, thanks. Just never know. Volume is rad. Got myself a diamond ring. How many people play this game and never go underground? I find that when I play this, I don't think I ever go underground. Unless I'm you know, I just want to go down there for fun. But I know that the strategy to this game does require some parts to go underground, and you have to know where the walls are. Otherwise, you're just going to run into a wall, and then you're going to have to backtrack, and that's not fun. Oh, alligator food. Are they alligators or crocodiles? Whatever. Point is, I'm eating. Let's try it again. Let's do this. Yeah, but as I was saying in the beginning there, I was setting this up. I haven't set up a live stream in a while. But I seem to remember before, when I would set up a live stream, it gave me an option to set a time and date as to when I wanted to start streaming. And it gave me a whole bunch of other options, like, you know, what kind of thumbnail and all this other stuff. I didn't see that there when I was setting up my live stream. So I don't know if YouTube changed things around or if there's just a different way you have to do it. Because it's giving me the only option. I didn't have any options for a thumbnail, which I thought was odd. And I didn't see anywhere to like program a time and date. So I don't know. It's strange. Because you literally just hit the start streaming and it starts right away. The other time I actually streamed, I remember there was a two-step process. You start the streaming, and then when you were happy with the streaming, then you start the video. You go live, essentially. This, it just literally starts streaming right away, and it's live right away. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on here with the YouTubes and the streamings of the YouTubes. Let's go Pitfall Harry. Whoa. Yeah, I'm just gonna play a few of my favorites right now. I'm gonna start with Pitfall. Pitfall's always a great classic on the Atari 2600. You don't get much better than this. Oh, you got Hero. Hero's cool. Ooh, maybe I should play Hero next. Hero's a great title. Only difference is that Pitfall is pretty easy to get your hands on, and Hero is pretty expensive. But, of course, I'm playing on an emulator right now, so that really doesn't matter. This is the first one, not the second. That's right. It's the first one. This is Pitfall 1. Pitfall. The Pitfall. David Crane's amazing Pitfall. With a exclamation mark. Pitfall 2 is you're going into the caverns and you're going down those stairs and you gotta go all the way down and then you gotta go all the way up and you have to find all the gold bars. That's a great game too. I can imagine how mind-blowing that game must have been. I mean, I didn't get that experience because I didn't grow up with the Atari 2600. I grew up with an Intellivision, so I had Pitfall. Well, I didn't own Pitfall, but my friend actually my brother's friend, they had Pitfall for the Intellivision, and I used to borrow it all the time so I could play it on my Intellivision. But then I ended up getting Pitfall 2 on my Commodore 64, so I did get eventually able to play Pitfall 2. And I thought it was a pretty cool game. Actually, it exists now on the Intellivision due to a homebrew, which you might already know about, but if you don't, there is a Pitfall 2 homebrew that was created for the Intellivision. Pretty cool. I did a video on it, actually, back I don't even remember now, quite a while back. I did a video. I think it was for the last year's PGRE, Portland Retro Gaming Expo. I did a video showcasing it, and so did a bunch of others, like Papa Pete, and I think somebody else. I'm trying to remember now. A few people did it. What blows my mind still about Pitfall 2 is that it's only 6KB in size and with a rocking theme, no less. Yes, that's correct. And from my understanding is that the Pitfall 2 cartridge has a special chip, sound chip, board, something in there that David Crane, I guess, figured out this would enhance the game with sound and stuff. So there's a special board in there that makes Pitfall 2 a little bit different, and which also makes it a little bit tougher to play the game on certain emulators, like the Flashback. Like it does, as far as I understand, Pitfall 2 does not work on the Flashback Portable. I don't know about the Flashback 9. I know that you could do an SD card on that and put the ROMs on there. And I'm not sure about the Retron 77. I know that might that has some problems with certain games. But because there was that little chip that was inserted into the Pitfall 2 cartridge, gave it that little bit of extra kick. Oh crap, oh crap, oh crap. It's the Atari Creep saying, I grew up with the Atari but played Pitfall on the Intellivision first. I always associated Pitfall more with the Intellivision because of that. That is pretty interesting. You know, it is kind of funny that there were a lot of games, you know, like I said, I was playing on the Commodore 64, and there was a lot of games I played on the Commodore 64 that I didn't know originated on the Atari. Like, I had no idea. Like, River Raid, for instance. I played River Raid all the time on my Commodore 64. I had no idea that game came from the Atari 2600. And then when I saw, like when I was a kid, when I borrowed my friend's Atari and they had all these games, and I saw these games there, and I'm like, holy crap. And in fact, even Hero, I didn't even know Hero started on the 2600. I played it all the time on the Commodore 64, and I had no idea. Like, I would have never even thought that the Atari would have been able to handle a game like Hero. So yeah, I was kind of surprised. Like, I was like, wow, like that started off as an Atari 2600 game, and obviously the Commodore 64 graphics are a little bit different. They're more attuned to what you would see on the ColecoVision's graphics. You know, all the 8-bit computers, that thing. The Atari had the more blocky, you know, less detail, same color scheme to some degree, but less detail. File size is anything 16-bit and older are incredibly small for today's standards. Yeah, that's true. I remember playing Pitfall when I was a kid. Now all I have is Pitfall 2. Wish I had it first instead. Well, if you have an Atari 2600, I mean, getting Pitfall is not that difficult. It's a fairly common game. Pitfall 2 is a little bit harder to get your hands on, actually. I'd say the last time I looked, anyways, now it was a while ago, was Pitfall usually is like a $5-10 game. whereas Pitfall 2 is usually like in the 20s somewhere in there. I don't know. Prices might have changed since I've last looked them up. Hey Rex. First time I ever touched an Intellivision was a year or two ago when I bought an INTV2 from a classic game shop. I was Atari VCS from 1980 all the way up to 87. That's awesome. Well, I'm kind of like that now with the Odyssey 2. I've never touched an Odyssey 2 until a friend gave me well, it was his wife's. It wasn't his, but his wife had the Odyssey 2, Magnavox Odyssey 2. From when she was a kid, and it was sitting in her basement forever, which I assume happens to a lot of consoles out there. And I guess he was like, oh, you know, I know a guy who is into old video games, and he'll probably like it. And so he passed it on to me, and yeah, that was my first experience with a Odyssey 2. So, you know, even though us old guys in our 40s grew up with this stuff, we didn't get to play all of them. We didn't always necessarily had somebody that had every single system out there. I mean, I do remember I had one friend that had a ColecoVision. I had one friend that had an Atari. One friend that had an Atari 7800. And a few friends that had the VIC-20. And I had the Commodore 64 and the Intellivision. So it was kind of interesting, you know, going over to friends' houses and get to play. Actually, one of my friends also had another system. I don't even know what the heck it was. I think it was like something that maybe Radio Shack sold. But I remember the cartridges kind of went in, like, kind of hard to say. Like, they slid into the system this way instead of, like, down into the system. And I don't know if it was like, what was it, TRS 80 or something? I don't know if it was that or some kind of Tandy thingy. But I remember my friend, a friend of mine, having this system that it's hard to remember going back that far, actually. Going back like 30 some odd years. I have a hard time remembering what I had for breakfast all 30 years ago. I got hit by the rolling carrot sticks. Or they're logs. What are they? Got some, what was that, silver? Could be the TI-99 or the Coco computer, I bet. Coco? COCO? I have a Tandy CO. Is it COCO or is it Coco? I don't know. That's the thing. I don't know. It was. I just remember. You know, the only game that I recall him playing was MASH. I remember that. I think it was MASH. It was something where there was like an ambulance, or maybe it was a skiing game or something. I remember a little ambulance coming out on the screen and doing something. He was the only one that had this thing that I've ever seen, so. Color computer. It's weird that I make these noises in my head when I'm at work. Dustin Miller. Hey, the No Swear Gamer. What up? Can't stay, but wanted to say hi. That's it. Always cool to see you streaming old school games. Yeah, thanks to No Swear. Yeah, I thought, I haven't done this in a while, and I just decided, hey, why not? Got some time. I tried to set it all up to get it to work. It's not set up the way I like it right now. I don't like how I have the game over here and the chat over here, and I don't know. I gotta play around with this. The other thing I'm using is a newer version of Stella that I didn't have before. I was always using the older version of Stella. But if you don't know what Stella is, for those who are watching this and you're like, what the heck am I talking about? Stella is the emulator that I'm using to play the Atari games. And you can get them, if you go to the Atari Age website, you can download it there. But I had an old version of Stella, and the problem with that one was when I started the game, I couldn't do anything else. It literally locked my mouse up. and I could only just focus on the game. Whereas this new version of Stella allows me to actually do other things. Allows my mouse to be free. So, yeah, but the other thing is it takes, I don't know, I've been playing around with the screen settings, and this one, it takes up the whole screen. So it's good that I have a secondary monitor that I can do this, because if I only had one monitor, I'd kind of be messed right now. I'd have to, I don't know how I'd be able to see the chat. So I would just be like staring at the game, so. It's strange, like I've had all these different setups throughout the years. I ever remember a long time ago, like when I first started streaming, I used to have a whole second computer set up on my left that I could see the chat. And I would log in, go to the YouTube page, and watch the stream live and do the chat there. So, yeah, I remember going through all these weird setups, and it was goofy. And then, at one point I thought I had a pretty good setup, but then YouTube went and gone and changed things around, so it's kind of weird. But I definitely need to look into, I'd like to pre-set up these streams again to, just to kind of advertise a little bit, because, it's hard to advertise when you have to, like, set it up and start right away, and then, if people wanted to watch this and they didn't know what was happening, it's kind of like, oh, that's sucky. I'd like to say, okay, well, here's the URL. I'm going to be streaming at 8 o'clock on what time, and be there or be square. Brent saying, what's up? Like the scary movie guy. I need to get a USB adapter for my joystick so I can play without getting my Atari out. I've been thinking of that for a while. I've been using the same strange controller, this PC controller that I picked up a very long time ago. It's a gamepad. I've been using this for quite some time, and I do have one that's looks like the Nintendo one, the NES controller, but it's not very good. It's really light plastic, and the buttons are starting to stick on it, but it's not very good. And I've been thinking, there is an Atari 2600 joystick that does have a USB end to it. So you can use that, or you can buy the adapter and actually plug in a real 2600 joystick, which probably would be ultimate, because these things are awesome. I love the original Atari 2600 joystick. It's one of my favorites. Like I said, I grew up in television, but I love the Atari joystick. It's so awesome. All right, take care, No Swear Gamer. Thanks for popping in. I just died. I just died. That's okay. Now the question is, how do I change games? Let's see. Because I want to play something else. What should I play is the question. Should I go to Hero? I was talking about Hero earlier. My problem is I've been ruined by modern adventure games, so I can't really play games I would have spent entire days on in the 80s. Well, I can kind of see that. I can see that. If you really get into the new stuff, and that can kind of ruin you for the playing the old games, especially the old games that only had 1 or 2 screens. Not much of a challenge. Hero. Is this it? Yeah, Hero. Just gonna wait a second. Check out some chat going on there. I attempted the May Flash Genesis adapter, but the firmware update didn't work. I did see a link somewhere on YouTube. Guy said it was plug and play. Yeah, it would be nice, even for the NES. It would be nice to have like a real NES controller. When I've played NES games, Using this, it kind of works, but I'm kind of too used to playing them on the NES controller, so it does get a little bit weird. Alright, let's play some Hero. Yeah. Now, Hero, I've often advocated that playing this game is better to play it with the Atari 2600 original joystick, because the stiffness of the joystick really comes in handy. The gamepad can be a little bit too, I don't know, what's the word? You know, it's missing that tightness of the control, and so it's easy for you to accidentally run into things. You know, the accuracy of using this guy. But it could also just mean that I'm just not used to it. Sloppy, fidgety, yeah. And there is something to be said about playing on emulation too. I mean, I always hear complaints that, or concerns that emulation might be slightly off from playing, you know, on real hardware. I just don't have the setup to do real hardware. I mean, I don't have the capture card, and all my hardware is in the basement, whereas my computer that I would do the streaming on is in the office, so that was bad. I'd have to really change things around. I don't really have the room in this office putting all my retro consoles in here. It would just be like, just too much effort to do something I can just do through an emulator. And yeah, I love original hardware, and I use it when I can. But if you watch my videos, you know I use original hardware, but I do the old put the camera to the TV, the old CRTV. I'm not doing well. Oh, I'm doing horrible. I think I'm so out of practice with this. Yeah, Stella's pretty damn close. I can't say I've had any problems. I think the lag and the latency and all that stuff, it's more with Nintendo than Atari. Like, when you play games like Castlevania and, what's the game? Punch-Out! Even Zelda 2. I find that playing on the emulator is quite a different experience. It just blew up. Kind of a different experience. Like, I've completed Zelda 2 on my original Nintendo, but when I played it on my emulator, I can't seem to get past the last part of the game. I just lose. So, I don't know if it's just because I'm out of practice or because I'm playing on emulator now instead of the original. You know, that might be something for me to test out one day. I should dust off my old Nintendo. I don't even remember the last time I actually plugged that thing in and actually played on my original Nintendo. You know, because I've been playing either on the PC emulator with the Nostalgia emulator, or I've been playing on the Nintendo Switch. Of course, my only gripe with the Nintendo Switch is I don't have the original controllers, so I have to use the Switch controller, which is okay. I mean, it's not too bad. Just gotta get used to the buttons being a slightly different feel and placement. My kid gets caught up in the cords if I have too much hooked up. Yeah, cords can be a pain, but, you know, as much as cords can be a pain, you never have to worry about any kind of lagging or anything you can get from wireless. I know it's not always a big thing, but it can be a thing. And of course, with cordless, you always have to worry about the battery life of the controller. I experienced that with my Switch. I sometimes don't, plug it in. So I'm kind of worried that one day I'm going to want to play my controller will be dead and I'm gonna have to charge it. 'Cause, you know, I only have the original Switch controller that comes with. I didn't run out and buy that expensive wireless controller that you can get. Although I have been tempted. But the controller's pretty expensive. It's what, like $60, $70 or more? I don't know. Maybe it's come down since then. I think I was just getting frustrated on the amount of money it costs to buy some. Oops, I didn't mean to fall there. To buy some of the modern stuff. It's just, wow. I know they do sell the other Switch controllers with the wire. I needed to install the replacement clock capacitor for my Xbox for years. It took me almost 5 years to bother installing the replacement. Good old modern gaming. Gotta install all these patches and clocks and updates. I don't have an Xbox. In fact, I don't have any of the Xbox. PlayStation, I have a PlayStation 2. That's about as late as I have. Possum Grits. Hello. Interesting name there. I think I'm playing horribly because I'm kind of talking and looking at the chat at the same time I'm playing. This game does require a lot of attention. It's funny, I used to play this on the train home from work on my phone. I had the Activision, I think it was Activision Classics type of app on my phone. I had all these like Atari Activision games. And this was so hard playing it on a cell phone with the touchscreen buttons. I think I could get like level 9 or 10 was like the furthest I could get and then forget it. When you're using the cell phone touchscreen buttons, forget it. Oh, the Atari group. I gotta bail for a little bit. I'll pop back in if you're still on. Sure, no problem. You know what's great is the Intellivision version of this. Heli. It's programmed by Carlos Madrid. Pretty cool guy. Talked with him a few times. Thing is cool with the Intellivision version is he's got the Christmas version. Pro tip: never leave a stream. The stream will end. Yeah, I didn't even plan this. This was literally like I just was like thinking about it. Started to play around with my OBS settings. Looked into. I couldn't even remember how to start a live stream. I had to go into YouTube and look around, and I'm like, how do I do it again? And I died. Heck with it. Let's just do it. Is there a way to turn down the game's audio without making you quieter too? Oh, is the audio for the game too loud? Yeah, I can turn that down. Definitely do that. Here we go. I don't think it's necessary. It's fun. Yeah, I can turn down the game audio. Let's see if I can figure it out. I think I have to go into my OBS. There's the desktop audio. I can turn that down a smidge. Maybe this will help. Okay, I just turned it down a bit. Oh, did I just die? Oops. Let me know if the desktop audio is any better. Let's go into something else. I've got to play something else. I'm trying to think, what's a game that I haven't... Oh, I know. I know a good one. One of my favorites. Like I said in the beginning of the stream, I want to play some of my favorites, so... Let's play... a Gary Kitchen classic. Let me know if the audio is any better. I turned it down a bit. But this is Keystone Capers. Yes, one of my all-time favorite. I feel like playing Spider Fighter now. Spider Fighter, jeez. I don't even remember the last time I played that one. I probably only played it like a handful of times, if that. Alright. Let's see here. There we go. Keystone Kelly. Yeah, you should know that this is one of my favorite ones, and which is why my first released in television game was Keystone Cops. I don't know why, but when I first started to program for the Intellivision, like to create my own games, this game came to mind as, I think I can do this one. And as I was learning to code on the Intellivision, I thought this game shouldn't be too difficult. I mean, the moves and all that stuff aren't overly complicated. You're literally running in either right or left direction. You just gotta know what floor you're on, so you know the Y direction, or the Y position, I should say, of the characters. I would say though, when I was creating my own game, my own Keystone Cops game, the one thing the two things that stumped me the most was this, the escalator, trying to figure out how to animate the escalator. That took me a big chunk of time. And having the robber running and going while he's not on the screen, keeping track of him, of where he is and where he's going, and you know that took a little bit of thought, but after a while I got it, and I was able to pull the game together. And now that now that I've been making games now for the Intellivision for over a year, I kind of look back at my Keystone Cops game and I'm like, there's so much I could have done to make it so much better. Like to the point where I feel like, I should redo it. Just start again. Start from ground up. I don't know. I kind of looked at the code and I was like, what if I go and modify the code a bit? But then I realized that, there's just so much that I'd have to change that I think I'd have to literally start again. And but now that I have more experience and stuff, honestly I'm starting to wonder how the heck I even did it in the first place. Looking at the way I did it then, but still this pesky escalator. I don't know. I guess it's just if you think about the Intellivision, you have 8 sprites that you get to work with on the Intellivision, which are your movable objects, and then everything else has to be like a bitmap, which you can animate by doing a little bit of animation tricks and all that stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I'm on the fence about it. Keystone Cops was already released, and I'm hoping that Rev from Intellivision Revolution can do another run of them, because I think there was only about 200, maybe, that were released. Some were released at the Portland Retro Gaming Expo. And then he had a bunch sold online, and then, you know, he's been sold out since, so... I was hoping he would, you know, be able to... But he's still working on my fast food, getting the release of fast food out, so... And we have a whole line of games that he wants to release, too. Like, my food fight game, which turned out to be pretty cool. Hey, Extreme Wreck 2000, what's going on, man? Yeah, he wants to get the fast food game going. I'm working on Donkey Kong 3 right now. We're almost done that one, actually. I have to program in the bugs, but I got Kong and I got the boards, and I got a lot going on there. I actually put a little teaser video showing a little bit of the progress that I'm at for that one. But I also have a bunch of other games that are pretty much complete that just need to be made into a cartridge, boxed up, manualed up, and ready to sell. So I had this game confused with Kangaroo, I think, for some reason. Ah, Kangaroo, yes. That's a good game. That's kind of like a Donkey Kong type of game. It was on my list of maybe I should try and make a Kangaroo game for the Intellivision. You know, that one I've been thinking about. Another game I've been thinking about might be cool and might be possible for the Intellivision is Rampage. I don't think anybody's yet attempted to make a port of that game for the Intellivision. I don't think so. There is an Atari version of it. It's not the greatest, but there is. Yeah, Kangaroo was originally an arcade game. I think the Atari 5200 has Kangaroo as well, which is a almost a spot-on version of the arcade. The 2600 one is not that good. Oh, shoot. I don't know why, but I thought there was no obstacles up here on the 4th floor. Battle Zone. Yeah, there's a lot of great Atari classics that never made its way onto the Intellivision. Ouch. You know, the other thing is, like, when I did this game for the Intellivision, I added in the IntelliVoice feature, which was okay, but unfortunately, I'm using the original robotic voice, so I don't think it really turned out as well as I hoped it. And the other thing is that, obviously, because, you know, I was still new to creating games on the Intellivision, I didn't think about the fact that if somebody doesn't have the IntelliVoice plugged in, they're going to be missing those sounds. And I didn't have anything backing up that if someone doesn't have the IntelliVoice plugged in. So there are a few times, like if you're not playing without the IntelliVoice plugged in, you're not going to hear any sound. Like if you get hit by the ball, like that sound. And when you die, you know, there was a bunch of things that I used the voice for that if you don't have the IntelliVoice plugged in and you play it on your regular Intellivision, it's just going to be lacking that sound. So that was one problem I had. I think if I were to redo this game, I'd probably would write it. I probably would not use the IntelliVoice. I just thought, it was fun because learning how to program for it, I think, was more exciting than actually requiring it in the game. However, there are some games that I was working on, and still am, that do require the IntelliVoice, like Space Taxi, which it fits in perfectly, and that would definitely require the IntelliVoice, essentially. And I died. The only thing I couldn't get to work was the perspective of the screen. And I still don't know if it's possible or not. At the time when I was designing it, I didn't have in mind the bottom radar map. And if you've seen my Keystone Cops game, you'll see that I created a secondary screen. You click on the button, and it pulls up the radar screen on a separate screen. Now, I don't know if it was just my lack of knowledge at the time to know how to fit everything into the screen, or what, but my game takes up the whole screen. Oh, I'm dead. It's not such a big deal. I don't know how often people really focus too much on that radar down there. The only thing that's cool about having the secondary screen as the radar is it acted as a pause screen. So you can actually pause the game. So if you've been playing for a while and, you got to take a leak, you got to put it on the radar screen and you can go take your leak. The Atari, you're not going to have no time to take a leak. I don't know. I haven't actually tested to see if there is a pause feature anywhere in the original game, but I'm trying to think now back to the Atari itself. Was there a pause button on it? And I'm gonna die soon. But I would say out of all the Atari games, I've probably played this one the most. Because when I bought my Atari, this was the game I wanted so much when I bought it. We were sold on the NES as soon as we realized we can pause. Yeah. Oh no! I just jumped into the airplane. The other challenge was making this on the Intellivision was, again, due to the sprite limitation, you see how you can see the airplane and the shopping cart on the top two screens? I didn't have enough sprites to continue that, or to do that, so pretty much the obstacle's only going to be on the area you're in. I was able to do some things like those things, the old radios, but I couldn't have multiple shopping carts because there just simply wasn't enough sprites, because the cop, he takes 3 sprites. You got 1 sprite for the hat, 1 sprite for his head, and 1 sprite for his body. They got 3 sprites. The robber took 2 sprites. We got 5 now. So you see I'm running out of sprites. I only had 3 left, and the shopping cart, 1 shopping cart took 2, so I don't know. If I changed things around and made them monocolor, which I was trying to avoid. I didn't want the shopping cart to be all white. I thought that would kind of be boring. I wanted it to have nice color. So, I had to sacrifice. Let's see, what else do we got going on here? What's another favorite game? Problem when you have too many games. Barnstorming. I saw somebody was Extreme Wreck, I think, was talking about barnstorming. It's an okay game. You have to go and up and down, pretty much. I never said I was good at it. Alright, there we go. Oh! Oh, okay. Yeah, no. Oh! I think you gotta get into your groove. Oh my goodness. I don't know where this game was. Alright. There we go. Oh! Okay, I'm gonna be the nominee for the world's worst score you can get. Back when games required memory. There we go. So you have to fly into the barn, and then you have to fly over the windmills. That's the challenge of this game. Missile control. Play E.T. so we can see what it's all about. E.T. Yes, E.T. is another classic. Now, E.T. is a game that you really do need to read the manual and see what all the little symbols mean. If you don't do that, you're screwed. Get into the groove here. Really going fast though. Speed. Ah! This was one of those games that just falls into the category of try and best the time that you can get. You know, that's pretty much what these games are all about. Besting your time. Let's go down here. Let's do it. Mr. Postman. Oh, I think I did play that one. I think I played that. That's a homebrew, isn't it? Multi-screen adventure, kind of jank, but interesting. I think I've played that. Or maybe not. Maybe I played something similar. Maybe I'm thinking of Doggone. Okay, let's see here. Not sure. I just pushed the button, so I don't know if I'm playing the I don't know if I'm playing the basic game or... Oh! The hit detection is a little bit weird. This is pretty much what happened to a lot of people who first started playing this game. They're like, I just keep falling into the pits. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I think that's the scientist? Is that the scientist? And that's the detective. Oh, we got something here. I think that's part of the phone piece, right? These are the Reese's Pieces. You get enough of the Reese's Pieces, and then you can call Elliot. So you see that the symbol at the top there keeps changing. So you really have to know what those mean. It's been a while since I read the manual, so I know that there's the E with the little lines is like calling Elliot. But you can only do that when you have, I think, like a certain amount of Reese's Pieces. 8 or 9 Reese's Pieces, then you can call Elliot. Fantastic Cube. What's up? Yeah, so the question mark, if you push it, it can tell you if there's a phone piece. Which, here we go. Phone piece. Why aren't you climbing up here? Why are you stuck? He doesn't want to go up now. He's stuck. There we go. That was weird. Never had that happen before. You know, I was kind of thinking that I haven't actually watched this movie in a long time. I think the last time I seriously watched this movie was when I got it on VHS for Christmas. What am I doing here? So I've been thinking I probably should watch it again, because I remember last year on TV, actually, during, I think, Christmas time, they were playing Gremlins, which is, you know, another 80s classic movie. And I thought, you know, let's watch Gremlins, because I haven't seen it since I was a kid, and I thought, you know, it'd be fun. Revisit the old movie. And then I've been thinking, I haven't seen E.T. in so long. Like, it's one of those movies that, you know, I've played the game several times, but I haven't actually watched the movie. Yeah, Gremlins did have an Atari 2600 game. Actually, the Gremlins game is pretty cool because you get like two games, I think, on there. Two styles of games. It's like a Kaboom style game and. Okay, so I'm looking. I think I should be playing this on easy. I suck at this game because I know the scientist and one of them just takes you to their area, just kind of slows you down. The other one takes your phone bits, which kind of sucks. All I remember is when I was a kid, I played this at my friend's house, who had a ColecoVision, and I guess she had the Atari expansion thing, because I played it on her ColecoVision, and and I wanted to play it so bad, you know, but it didn't exist for the Intellivision. Well, it does now, but it didn't then. So I remember wanting to play this game so much. I was so fascinated by it. Yeah, I gotta call Elliot, but I gotta wait for that symbol to show up. There it is. How do you do it? Nothing happened. Why didn't it happen? There he is. Oh, I did. That's why he's there. That ain't good. Thought I pushed the button when he appeared. So this is what I'm saying. You really do have to read the manual. You do have to understand what's going on. That's what I think. Howard Scott Warshaw, brilliant programmer. I mean, I don't think anybody would have been able to pull this game off, especially in the time that he had. Like, he had such a limited time to make a game. And I remember watching, I think it was during the documentary of when they were digging up the crap in the desert. And Howard Scott Warshaw did say that he was confronted by Steven Spielberg, who said, "Why don't you just make a Pac-Man game? Like, why don't you just like copy Pac-Man or something like that?" And I'm like, yeah, that would have been easy. He could have easily done that. He could have just made a Pac-Man game with E.T. head instead of Pac-Man, and you're eating Reese's Pieces, and you know, he could have taken that route, but he didn't. He's like, you know what? I'm gonna make a game that's kind of follows the theme of the movie a little bit more. And so, I mean, kudos to him. And he ended up making a game that was unlike most games on the Atari at the time. You know, Superman comes kind of close. You get to like go through multiple areas and do a whole bunch of different things. So that's kind of cool. It was $5 at Walmart for the DVD, and all old enough that file size couldn't be crazy if you wanted to upscale it. Apparently Steven Spielberg likes the game. Well, I'm sure after he put the game together, and showed it to Spielberg, he kind of was like, you know what, this is actually pretty cool. I mean, he was very ambitious at the time, and he took a risk, because what if he couldn't have finished it, you know? And you know, that would have been bad. There was a time when this was like groundbreaking stuff, right? Like having a game based on a video game, a video game based on a movie. You know, this kind of started this whole thing of let's franchise into the game world to sell the movies, and you know, and then of course he did Raiders of the Lost Ark after that, and I think he did it after this one. I think this one was first, and then Raiders of the Lost Ark, and you know, from there we got a lot of wonderful games like Back to the Future on Nintendo, and a lot of crap. But yeah, you know, people say this is a bad game. They didn't get to play some of the real crap that came out after that. Yeah, LJN's Back to the Future. I mean, I remember renting it just on the fact that it was Back to the Future alone, and getting home and playing it, going, "Wow, why is this anything like Back to the Future? I don't get it." And not that I hated the game. I liked the game. I was cool with it, but it wasn't Back to the Future. There was no music. There was nothing. Was the Atari 2600 Superman linked to the 78 movie? Not that I'm aware of. I think it was just based off of Superman. I don't think it was. I could be wrong, but I don't think it was. I mean, maybe they were banking off of the popularity of the movie to push the game, but I don't think they marketed it that way. E.T. died again. Poor E.T. I'm not good at this game. I'm not good. But, you know, again, you can play this on the Intellivision as well. Somebody did make a great port of it. What else do we have here? You know, I mentioned this game earlier, Fast Food. I did a port of this game too. And it was another one of those things where I just like, I saw a video on it, and I thought this would be a fun. Is this the original one, or is this like some goofy? I think it is. I think that was the original. Yeah. I don't know. I just find, I don't know, the graphics are weird. They're really weird in this one. Especially the ugly guns. One of the things that I said to myself when I created this one on the Intellivision was I wanted to make the graphics look better. I actually made like the jaws and the teeth look like teeth. And then after I programmed it, I was getting some people on the Atari Age forum to test it out, and someone was like, you know, it's a great game. It doesn't have a lot of replayability. And so I thought, well, it's like, okay, you know, I can work on that. I can expand it. And then they started throwing out some suggestions. They're like, you know, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? Why don't you? So I did that. I created a whole bunch of these extra levels. So you can make like have these pills falling down. And there's a level with giant purple pickles and. Seriously, I don't know what they were thinking about with that dead. Play Mr. Postman next. That'd be interested to see what you think of that. Okay, I'll check if I have it. I didn't see it. I don't know if I have it. It's in my list of games. Even the sound effects on this version is still a little bit weird. Yeah, but this game should be coming out soon. I was talking to Rev a while ago, and he's been working. I know he had a backlog of games due to chip shortages and all that stuff, but he's been hoping to get this out. Well, the only time I think it was ever sold was at the Portland Retro Gaming Expo. We had a bunch there for sale, and of course I have the ROM for sale on Television Collector. You can download the ROM for it. And the graphics in this version look funny to me. The mouth in particular look like the mouth of some mutant. Yeah. It looks like an old person that has no teeth. Oh no! You know, it's funny that they call them purple pickles. I think they should have said eggplants. They look more like eggplants to me than purple pickles. Dead. Closed. Oh, that's the extent of that game. Alright, let's see if I have that Mr. Postman. I'm not familiar with that one. This game truly gives off a bizarro Black Void vibe for me. It's like you're in the wild, little space while food just flies towards you. Yeah. Well, one of the things that when I was creating my version was I was trying to come up with a background that would make any sense, and I couldn't come up with anything. So if you see my version, you'll see I just kind of had like this border at the top that kind of looks, you know, checkered kind of thing. So I'm like, what? The game in itself doesn't make much sense. I mean, this food's flying at this mouth. It's like, whatever. Like I was trying to come up with what kind of background would look good. Mr. Postman, there it is. Alright, what am I getting into? Whoa. What is going on here? We got a swinging rope like in Pitfall. We got this thing that looks like from Demon Attack. Is the game even playing? I guess it's playing right now. Whoa, that's my character. He looks like a teddy bear. What is going on here? This is an interesting game. I guess I'm dead. Okay. Try again. Am I supposed to like go somewhere? Okay. I'm at the top. What do I do now? What? Okay, this is probably one of the strangest games I've played yet. That's okay. Okay, I need a little bit of context here. What the heck is going on? You have to get the ladder, get the rope, then you have to... Time probably so you can land on the vulture's head? I have to land on its head? What? Ow. Like, that looks like those things from Demon Attack. The sound effects are definitely interesting. Okay, let's try and get back on the... Okay. This is weird. Well, it's a teddy bear. That's all I know. At least it looks like one. There's a second screen, so I guess timing. Oh, you can't jump. I don't know. This seems like a mishmash of a bunch of games. Somewhere. Now what do I do? Whoa. Okay, what's happening here? There's like a lightning bolt and things are falling. What on earth is happening here? Oh, I can shoot. Okay, all of a sudden I can shoot something. Some kind of purple grape. What am I trying to shoot? These things? Shoot those things. I don't know what that little lightning bolt thing is doing there. Shoot those red things. Okay, or I just have to shoot these things. You know how the old games, they expect you to use your imagination? I'm running out of ideas here. What's going on? Let's see what Extreme Wreck, because he seems to be the one who knows what this game's all about. This game truly gives off a bizarro Black Void vibe from me. You're in the wild liminal. Oh, wait, no, checker. Okay, this game is janky. What the teddy bear is delivering to the castle is anyone's guess. There's a second screen. It's hard to time it, but you have to get on a second. Alright. You also shoot the white bird poop. White bird poop, eh? Alright. Oh, that's a weird one. That's definitely one that has to go in the books, okay? Maybe I'm going to have to maybe I'll have to do a video on this game alone, okay? I'll have to remember that. Mr. Postman. Because that's a bizarre one there. I'm going to have to look up into that one. It's like any Atari game. I'm sure you read the manual and knew exactly what to do. Yeah. That's the problem. Got to read the manual. I ain't got time for that. I'm just going to go through some of the stuff we got going on here. Actually, you know it's one that I like playing when I do my live streams. That just to see how far I get is Princess Rescue. This isn't a classic game by any means, but it's still fun. You know? Playing some Super Mario Brothers on the Atari. I always like to play this just to see if I can get any further than I did before. I seem to be not too good at this one. I don't know why. Take that. Whoa! Falling. push up and push the button to shoot the fireballs. It's just that little extra step that kind of is annoying. Whereas with the Nintendo controller, you can just push the other button. I wish I could have gotten an actual cartridge of this. This would have been cool. I know there was only a very short run of this. Didn't last very long. Of course, the rumor is that Nintendo shut them down. I don't know if that's 100% true, but I mean, this was at a time when Nintendo was really protective of their IP. This was also during the time where if you tried to stream a Nintendo game, they didn't let you monetize, and they didn't let this. I don't know. They gave you like a copyright strike claim. You know, Nintendo was at their weird time when this game came out. Yeah, the Nintendo's Partners program. You had to be part of that. I did a few Nintendo streams and stuff like that. And I remember getting the copyright claim, and I was like, "What the heck? You guys don't want me to play your games and show off your games? Like, really? Okay." And you had to join some partner program, and I don't know. It was ridiculous. So this, I wouldn't. It wouldn't surprise me that they would have put the kibosh on something like this, which is weird because this would have been a homebrew that not a lot of people would have even understood it. It's not like the company was making millions of dollars off of this. Very limited run. So if it is true, that kind of sucks. One for the Intellivision as well, which is very, very close to the Nintendo version. I think it's Skywaffle that did that one. Whether that one will ever get a physical release or not, I don't know. The version I have is only about 4 levels, as far as 4 worlds, not levels, 4 worlds. Really tapping into the musical capabilities of the Atari 2600. What do you think this is? If this does look cool. Can you imagine if this actually got released back in the day? Actual real release for the Atari 2600. I would have been totally over it. I would have loved this. I mean, I remember I didn't have a Nintendo. Oh. I didn't have a Nintendo, but I did have my Atari 2600 Junior at the, back in the mid-80s. And I wanted to play this game so bad, and I didn't have my Nintendo yet. So if this existed, that would have been happy as pigs in crap. It's weird seeing such a giant dog. But, they had to make it work. Sprite capabilities and all that stuff. Ouch. Oh no! Two IPs to avoid if you create homebrews: Nintendo and Disney. Absolutely. Disney? Don't even attempt Disney. No way. Nuh-uh. Disney will crush you. Nintendo, yeah, they kind of eased up a bit. I know they don't. I've done a few Nintendo videos and I didn't get any copyright claims since they eliminated that partner program. think I was supposed to go down. Oops. Try that one more time. Because I think this is fun. Although now that they've gone and made the Super Mario Brothers movie, and that became like the #1 grossing movie, they made a lot of money off of it. That, yeah, maybe they're gonna start getting more stringent on their IP again. Not that I didn't like the movie, I love the movie. I thought that was great. You know, I'm definitely going to buy a physical copy of that movie when it comes out. I like physical copies. I don't like streaming. I like having a DVD. Yes, I have DVDs. I don't have a Blu-ray player. I'm not that technically advanced to own a Blu-ray player. I don't know. Just never got around to buying one. It doesn't really matter anyways. It's not like you can't get certain movies on DVD. Whatever. Play old games. Play old media. Whatever. Actually, one piece of physical media I do need to get my hands on is something to play some music. Like an old boombox that can play CDs and cassettes. I have a lot of cassettes that I can't play right now because I don't have a cassette player, which sucks. I had one, I had to throw it out because speakers and all that kind of got destroyed. But yeah, it's really hard. I've been checking in like pawn shops and stuff, thrift stores, looking for a boombox that can play CDs and cassettes. I got so many of them. Even my band that I had from the 90s. Yeah, it was the 90s. I had my band. And we had a couple of songs recorded. We only ended up with 2 songs recorded. The band kind of fell apart after that. Yeah, I still have those recordings, and they're on tape. I don't have a CD of it. I have a VHS recording of one of our live performances, which is okay. But I think I've only made it this far once. Not familiar with. Oh no! Oh, John Rogers is talking about the game audio. Seems to be drowning you out. Might be your headphones though. I might have to turn the audio in the game down again. I wonder if some games are louder than others. Let me just turn down the audio a bit. Maybe that'll help. Whoa! I don't know if I've made it this far before. This might be a record for me. Ah, no! Is it over? Nope, nope. I got one more man. One more man. It's weird when you jump on these things, they just stop and turn into a platform. Oh, no. No. I wanted to get a little bit further. Little dark blue. My background, I see, might be 2 a.m. around this time for Mario. Yeah. Yeah, it is weird with that blue background. That was fun. Let's see what else I got going on here. I do have a Donkey Kong that's pretty cool. This one? Or is this the original? That's the original. I don't want to play the original. Where is it? There it is. This is a pretty cool Donkey Kong. I think it's I don't know if it was a homebrew or what, or probably is a homebrew, I guess. Yeah, Donkey Kong VCS. There we go. Now Donkey Kong does look a little bit weird, but I mean the game does kind of give you a little bit more of the Donkey Kong feel than the original did. I mean, Dan Kitchen did a really good job trying to emulate what he could back in the day. I remember watching an interview with him, and he was talking about how when he was tasked with making Donkey Kong on the 2600, that originally he was going to make the barrel board all of the girders pretty much straight, not being on a slant, because he couldn't figure it out how to do it. And part of his motivation was that when he was looking into getting into Activision, I don't know, I think it may have been David Crane said that you know, if this game was made by Activision, the girders would be on slants, and it motivated him to say, okay, I can do it. So, you know, as much as we might want to harp on the original Donkey Kong, he did have a lot of challenge back in the day, and he was able to pull it off. So, I think the biggest gripe is that he was only able to get to 2 levels in there. You know, which again, there's a hack where somebody gone and made the other 2 levels, but still not as functional. This functions a little bit better, plays a little bit better, and it's harder. Let's see if I can get the hammer. Take that, barrels. Oh. Yeah, definitely a homebrew. Definitely. Yeah, I don't think this is a hack. Yeah. Usually the hacks end up looking a little bit more similar to the original. If they hack, they just add a little bit extra. But you have to think about the timing and you know, when the original was made. I think this one has all 4 boards, I believe. If I can get past the first level. It definitely has that feel of the arcade where it's a little bit hard. I mean, that flickering Donkey Kong at the top, and the fact that you can only get half of it in the screen, does kind of look a little bit off, but I mean, we know who he is. It's Donkey Kong. And Pauline looks great. I mean, she's full color there. Something the Intellivision could never seem to pull off is having a nice, colorful Pauline. It's always a monocolor. Even with the DK Arcade, which is a really vast improvement. And having this stage is cool, too. Having that... What do you call it? Intermission, well, secondary stage. I'll call it that. Ooh. Ah! Ooh, I thought I was dead. I thought I was dead there, but I wasn't. I was spared. Oh! I jumped at the wrong time. I like the sound too. They've really given that real arcade Donkey Kong sound. You know, this would have been awesome if this got released at its, you know, if this is what we would have gotten, this would have been pretty cool. I don't think people would have complained about this too much. I mean, maybe some of the flickering, people would get a little bit, you know, picky on, be like, oh, you know, flickering, but mind you, I am playing this on an emulator, so I don't know if the flickering would have been different, or is different if you play it on an actual Atari 2600. I can't even get past the first freaking board. You know, I don't know if it would have been different, but it's actually something I don't have is a flash card. Yeah, Extreme Rec is saying the flickering isn't an issue for him. But as I was saying, I don't have a flash card for the Atari 2600. I have an LTO flash card for the Intellivision, and really the only reason why I ended up pulling the trigger on that was because I started programming for the Intellivision, and I knew I would need to be able to test my games on a real Intellivision. I don't think that's as pivotal with Atari. You know, I think if I start programming, which I did buy a book, I did buy Oscar's book on programming for the, here we are in the Pi stage. I did buy the book from Oscar about programming on the 2600. I haven't had a lot of time to really dive into it yet. I'm still working on a lot of Intellivision games, but it is on my list of things to do. But yeah, that might be something fun to start diving into. But I can kind of see how things are working. I can see probably the flickering is due to like switching of sprites to make, you know, make it work. Donkey Kong is probably like one half that's moving back and forth to make a full image. It's probably mirroring to make it look like it's a full-on Donkey Kong. So it's kind of interesting. I mean, I seriously doubt that during that day that Dan Kitchen would have been able to pull off something like this with the time and budget and cartridge space and all that stuff. It probably wouldn't have been a thing. No way. I mean, he had to constrain to the time. He had to constrain to making the game as small as possible to fit on a cartridge that they could afford, and you know, get it out for probably Christmas or something. Well, Donkey Kong looks a little weird, but that's okay. Rob's Retro Gaming is like, wow, Pie Factory, nice. Yes, yes. When you talk about Donkey Kong and consoles that had the game, almost none of them had the Pie Factory. From what I understand, the NES, the Famicom had it, as far as I understand. I could be wrong, but I think the Famicom had it. But then when they made it in the North American, they omitted the level, I think due to cartridge space. Because the Famicom had the disc system and all that stuff. And so when they ported it, which I thought was weird though, because I'm like, you know, Super Mario Brothers is a big game, and Donkey Kong is not. So how could they have not? I don't know. I don't understand how the NES Donkey Kong didn't have the Pie Factory. It's just so weird. But it really just comes down to space and stuff like that. There's like a whole reasoning behind it. Oh, look, I get to start off with the Pie Factory. That's pretty cool. I thought I'd start back at the beginning again. See if I can pass this and we can get to the elevator stage. Yeah, Donkey Kong Classics. That was the one I have that I bought, and it's got the Donkey Kong again with only the 3 boards. The barrel board, the rivet stage, and then the elevator stage. So here we are. Here's the elevator stage. This is actually pretty good. This looks pretty spot on. I mean, with Atari graphics, for sure. Uh-oh. Okay, we're gonna go down here. And get Pauline's hat. I'm gonna jump here. Jump here. This is actually a pretty decent, rendition of the board. And if anybody's fans of the ColecoVision version, the ColecoVision had this stage, but the noticeable difference was it didn't have those bouncing barrel things, which is what made was what made this level hard. So even though the ColecoVision did have that third stage, which is the elevator stage, it was missing a critical piece, and that was those bouncing barrels. Which is interesting. I wonder why. I wonder what the reasoning behind that was. But... Hey Thomas, how's it going? Been a while, man. Kind of makes you wonder, though. When they were programming these things in the beginning, what was the reasoning? I'm pretty good, Thomas. Nice to see you in here. Dead. I'm dead. Do I get to start again here? Bouncing springs. Okay, that's probably a better explanation of it. Barrels, springs, bouncing things. I remember actually seeing something about the Intellivision version if someone was looking back and looked at some of the original graphics that were programmed for the original Intellivision version, which a lot of people say is crap. And that they think that there was a elevator stage planned, but it never came to fruition, which is whatever. I mean, we ended up with DK Arcade anyways, so that's okay. I think I'm back to the beginning again. Punishing myself. I wanted to see if I could get through all 4 boards. Oh, no. Alright. Thomas was on Facebook streaming. Cool. Dunny Dun. Hey, Brian, love your channel. Cool. Thanks, man. Considering what you said about the original DK 2600 DK port by Dan Kitchen, it makes Bobby is Going Home look more impressive than it is. Bobby's Coming Home is a pretty interesting game. I akin that a lot to more like the Smurfs game. It does have that kind of feel to it. And I love the Smurfs. Crap. I love the Smurfs game. I loved it on the ColecoVision. It was one of the things that motivated me to want to own a ColecoVision, was to get the Smurfs game. Do you ever play other retro fame? Other retro fames? Do you mean faves? Sorry, I'm not sure what you mean there, Dundee. Dunny Dun. I butchered your name. Okay, I only have 1 life left, so I'm pretty much just gonna die here. Sierra Gan. Oh, okay, yeah, well, I mean, I typically stick to a lot of the old stuff, but I play a lot of the Atari and Intellivision, ColecoVision, Commodore 64, a lot of the stuff that I grew up with. In fact, Coleco is another one of those systems that I keep telling myself I need to start playing again. I've been playing a lot of Intellivision and Atari stuff recently, which is great, but I need to get back into doing some more Coleco. Crap. Got my ColecoVision set up in the basement, so Yeah, Thomas has been playing a lot of Atari games too. Well, you know, the 50th anniversary that came out for the Switch, the Xbox, and all that. That helped give a good push to the old systems. You know, that way it gives a little bit more exposure to some of the younger audience, and not just the old people like me who played this stuff when we were kids. All the old nostalgia people remembers playing this when they were little. And being able to play games like these that didn't exist when we were little, but we always wish they did. I mean, I remember playing Donkey Kong on my television, and I didn't even realize at the time that the two boards were even missing, because I didn't get to really play Donkey Kong too much. I was still young, and I didn't go to arcades all the time, so I didn't really get the real feel of Donkey Kong. And so I didn't really know until I started playing on my Commodore 64. I had Donkey Kong, and there was these two more boards that I'm like, why don't I have these on the Intellivision? Like, I didn't understand at the time. I'm like, what's going on? And then I got it on the my friend, I remember he lent me the Atari 2600 version of Donkey Kong, and I started playing it. I'm like, this is exactly like how the Intellivision is. It's missing the two boards. Why is that? I didn't understand it at the time. I'm like, I don't know. All right, take care, Thomas. Thanks for dropping by for a bit. All right, let's see what else we got here. Oh, yeah, Memorial Day. Oh, yes. I guess that's Memorial Day in America. I'm in Canada here, so we already had our long weekend was last week. We had Victoria Day. Queen Victoria. We don't celebrate Memorial Day here, but that's cool. Popeye. Should I play Popeye? Dare I play Popeye? Let's play Popeye. Now this is a game that I think is actually pretty decent on the Intellivision, but the Atari one, I mean, it's playable. It's not too bad. I don't know if anybody's ever tried to recreate this, like do a homebrew of it to try and fix it on the Atari 2600. I haven't seen anything like that, but I know that there's an Atari 7800 of this that looks almost arcade perfect. Or maybe I should say more like the Nintendo version. My buddy Mr. Poe Style loves this game. He's a big Popeye fan for the video games. And he's got the board game and a whole bunch of other cool stuff. Uh-oh. 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 What am I gonna do? Ah! I couldn't get to the heart. That Bluto or Brutus, or whatever you want to call him, guy was in the way. But I do like the Intellivision version of it. I think it's nice and colorful. It looks good. Again, I grew up with the Commodore 64 version, so... And if you've ever played the original arcade version of this game, it is hard. I think you can get it on the Switch. I think you can get the arcade version on the Switch. I know they made a new version of it, like a whole 3D kind of new game. Not exactly this, but inspired by it. Didn't get very good reviews. I saw, crap. What's his face? Riggs. did a review on it, and he didn't really do too well. He didn't really say too much good stuff about it. Let's get the alright, let's go after him. Ooh. It's missing that little thing at the top there where you can drop it down on his head. Just realized that. And this level looks very underwhelming. It didn't really work out too well. And there is a version of this for the Odyssey 2, the Magnavox Odyssey 2, which I think only has the first level. And it's very, very, very simple and plain. But it's a little bit hard to get your hands on. I've been trying to find it on eBay and stuff, and I haven't seen any listings for it. I think it was only released in Europe or somewhere. What happened? Oh, I just died. Yep. Yeah, that's Popeye. We do have... I think this is Mario Bros. The original Mario Brothers. I'll just play a little bit of this. Just have some fun. I remember picking up this game in a thrift shop for like 99 cents. And at the time I'm like, wow, there's a Mario Brothers game for the Atari 2600? I was kind of walking through a thrift shop. It was a long time ago. It wasn't any time recent. Probably about 20 years ago. And I remember seeing it, and they wanted like 99 cents for it, and I'm like, cool. I was quite impressed by it. I'm like, damn. I think at the time when I first got my Donkey Kong game on the Intellivision, I thought it was this game. Like I thought it was Mario Brothers for some reason. I think I was a little bit, I was kind of young and didn't really know the difference between Mario Brothers and Donkey Kong. But I ended up liking Donkey Kong anyways. I had a lot of fun with it. Even though it's not traditionally the best version of it. I don't believe that anybody's even ported this yet to the Intellivision. I haven't seen one. There's an Atari 5200 version of it that doesn't really look that great. It's really green. I did play it. I did one video on it where I played it. But then there's, I believe there's a 7800 version, which I don't have. I don't have that one. But that one's pretty damn close to the the Nintendo version. Ooh! I landed on the turtle. Save me from the wee turtles. I like how the turtle gets up and just kind of like, oh, my shell. My shell. Coins. I think these are supposed to be coins, aren't they? I don't know why they had to make them purple. Kinda weird. Mario Brothers was on the 7800 despite Nintendo wanting to revoke Atari's license. Same for Donkey Kong and Donkey Kong Jr. Yeah, the Donkey Kong and Donkey Kong Jr. on the 7800 is pretty good. I mean, they're almost Nintendo NES quality. The sound chip was not so good. But for whatever reason, no Donkey Kong made it onto the 5200. Although if it did, I'm sure it would have been like the Atari 8-bit version, which is, challenging in itself. But yeah. Anyways, yeah, I think I don't know how long I've been streaming now for. Like, feels like an hour and a half, 2 hours. But I think it's time to pack it in. And yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I mean, I got to work on this setup. I don't like the way this is running. I don't like how I have to have the game over here, the chat over here. And I'm still not sure why I can't program it to, program ahead of time so that I can schedule it and all that kind of stuff. Oh, look, the No Swear Gamer just popped back in. Wow, still going. Yeah, I think I'm going to end now. It's 10:30 at night my time, and I've been up all day doing a lot of stuff today. It was a busy day, and I just jumped right back into streaming. I haven't streamed in so long. I felt like I've been out of touch with this whole streaming thing, and maybe in my next stream, maybe I'll try doing Intellivision again. I haven't done a lot of Intellivision streaming, but maybe I'll do that. I don't know. Maybe I'll do another Atari one. Maybe I'll do a request one where people throw out their requests. We'll see. I don't know. I kind of do these kind of ad hoc. I don't pre-plan them. I just kind of do them. But anyways, thanks everybody for coming out. It was great talking to you all there. A lot of great people came in. A lot of people I remember from a while ago, and people have been watching my channel. It's been growing, and I've been having a lot of fun doing my videos. And as I always say, you're always welcome to come on, suggest video topics, share your thoughts and opinions as I kind of come up with new video ideas. And my channel's been growing. I'm almost at 3,000 subscribers, which is really cool. I mean, I'm like almost there. It wasn't that long ago. I just passed the 2,900 and whatever. So it's really cool that getting a lot of people coming in and watching this. No Swear Gamers, like, what systems can you stream? Well, the truth is, No Swear, I don't really stream using real hardware, so it's anything I can emulate. I don't have the setup right now. I don't have the capture card. I don't have all that stuff, and so whatever emulators. I have like Nintendo, Sega Master System, Sega Genesis, all the Game Boy. Actually, Game Boy might be a fun one too, to do some Game Boy streaming. I've been thinking of that. Odyssey 2, yeah. My Odyssey 2, the real one I have, it's a little bit wonky. The power supply needs some fixing. I don't know if I can fix it or not. I'm kind of scared to take it apart because I don't know if I'll be able to get it back together. And I don't know, even if I do take it apart, if I'm going to know how to fix the power thing. But it is kind of wonky. Like, when I plug it in, I have to jiggle the cord. I have to put some pressure on it. And I think one of the controllers is sticking. So it's constantly running to the right. So it does need a little bit of repair, but I don't know. Maybe, I guess there must be an emulator for it. There must be. I do have an emulator also for the Atari 8-bit and the 5200, so who knows? Maybe I can go there. One of my favorites is also on the 7800. I've done a few streams on that too. Most notably, I've done the Impossible Mission game, the possible one that you can actually complete. But anyways, thanks everybody for coming out. Really awesome to see you. Yeah, I hope I can continue this. I want to do some more streaming. I've been doing a lot of videos and not a lot of streaming, and this was a lot of fun, especially being able to communicate with people. Anyways, hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day, evening, night, wherever you are on this planet, and we'll see you on the next video, and hope you subscribe. Talk to you later.